So if you agree,
Yes, sir.
so we have learned a lot of concepts in React already. So it's a time to revise since we had a gap. It's also important to recall those concepts, whatever you have discussed. Okay, first let's list what are the different concepts you have learned with React, and we'll take some examples to revise, and then I'll give you some practice questions to solve now. The first thing with React we have understood, okay, what exactly is React component. You can also join me in listing it. Huh? I might not remember all the things. React component, which is nothing but how to create a component, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
How to
How to
create a
create and
component,
how to import
how
and
to
adapt. Yes.
import
Yeah.
and render a component.
Render and account. Yeah. How to import and export. Basic. Yeah.
Import and export is part of JavaScript modules. Okay, so we have learned that syntax. Yes. So here also we do import and export. Yeah, import export is anyhow there. Let's say you need to do because that is how you can borrow a component from a different file or from a module. This is a standard JS concept. All right, JS. Okay. What else we have learned? And that's a way to organize, correct? If at all we need to organize, so we have seen like uh, it's better to keep things in multiple files, isn't it? Not everything in one component. Okay. Anything else we have learned? Again, what are the things we have learned? Again, you joined, yeah. You see, what are the other concepts we have learned other than creating component?
So we learned a syntax of JSX. Yeah.
Okay, we have learned the JSX syntax. Yeah.
And the rules for that. Yeah.
Okay,
Rules for
JSX
JSX.
rules. Okay, can you tell me what are the some of the rules of JSX?
Yeah, if we want multiple statement in return statement, that time we need to declare one parent element while
Correct.
rendering those multiple items, or we can write inside fragment. That means empty.
Okay. Yeah. More than one element. Okay. Use common parent. Correct. Yeah, you rightly said. Or use fragment. Fragments are nothing but empty elements. Okay. So what is other rule, Mani?
Sir, basically we need to close all the tags.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
Opening and closing tag should be there.
close opening and closing tag. Yes.
Yeah. Otherwise React will throw an error.
Yeah,
Proper.
we need to follow proper syntax here in React. Otherwise, it will throw
Because
error. Come
JSX
back to
is,
that HTML. Yeah,
so you can say
somewhat.
JSX is
Yeah.
strict. Strict syntax. Correct. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, After this rule, we learned how to conditionally render, isn't it?
Yes. Conditional.
Conditionally render something because we don't want to just hard code like HTML. I think before this, we also learned interpolation syntax, if you remember. Interpolation, correct? Which is nothing but writing to curly
Yeah.
braces.
Brag.
Yeah.
Curly
Within
braces.
this, I can, let's say if there is a name, I want to display that name. Okay. Conditional rendering is what? Using if statement, using switch statement, correct? I can render
Yes, sir. If else.
conditionally. Yeah. Yes, if else. Yeah, else was also working. If else which uh, yeah, else if all that's branching conditional branching statements are working. Why do we need conditional rendering? Remember the example before login.
Uh,
Yeah, I should display something. After
to
login, I should
display
display
the
something.
content based on the condition,
Correct?
based on the user input. Yeah,
Yeah, based on the current state of the application, based on current inputs passed to the component, I want to display different output. I don't want to say something. If a user has logged in, I should say welcome. If user has not logged in, I should say login. Isn't it? If he's logged in, display as welcome. If not logged in, display as please login. Or display login page. Or display login component. Okay. What else? Conditional rendering. If else. Interpolation. This is all under JSX. We have also learned how to render list. Correct? Rendering a list of items actually. How do we render? We use a array map method. Isn't it? When I have set of things to render, I use array map method to display. I can also use array dot filter method also because both will return an array only. Yeah. So while rendering, we can use one of these two. I can filter the items and then render it. I can map the items and display all of the items. But here one thing we understood, we need to provide what is called as key prop for each of the element. Yeah. For each unique key prop for each of the repeating element. Another thing we have understood, yeah, this is correct. Rendering list. We have basically understood this concept. We have also understood what? Props. What are props? Yeah. Props are nothing but like that's a input, right? They are like parameters to the component. Like how we pass parameter to a function, props are parameters to a component, isn't it? We can pass more than one prop. We can pass custom prop. No need to have a fixed props. No need to say that I should only do this. No, you can use whatever name you want. We learned different syntax for passing the props, which is nothing but okay, how to pass a string value, how to pass a boolean value, also passing an object number. We used this rest and spread syntax if you remember. Yeah, basically spread. We have used the spread syntax while passing. While receiving, we have used the rest syntax also for receiving the props.
and declaring that default.
Yeah, exactly. So we have learned destructuring also. Along with the destructuring, we have learned default values to the props. If prop is not passed, how do I render? What value should I keep? Alright. Anything else? And I've told
Yes, sir.
you,
Yeah, event and
yeah, before going to that, I've told you props are read only. Meaning you should not change the props. But anyway, you should not modify them. You can use them. No worries. You should not, you know, modify them. You should not update them within the component. Before going to jumping to that, I have told you there is a very important or one very important or a different prop, I should say. It's called children prop. Remember, if I have a component and if I pass something between the body, that goes as a prop, children prop. Yeah, there's a special prop which is called children. Yes. After this, after seeing all this, we have gone to what is called as event handling, isn't it? Event handling in React. So we have handled, yeah, different events. So in general, like browser supports many type of event. Keyboard event, what else? Mouse events, yeah. We said touch events, input events. So they're like this. There are many events are there. So we have understood, okay, event, yeah, event handling, and then in that we have seen event object, some of the interesting properties. Remember Mani? Yeah, we have displayed some of the useful properties. For example, event object has a name, it has a type, it has an object called target, and the target has a value, right? So we have seen this actually. We have seen event target, event handling. We have seen event handling examples also. Some of the commonly used events. We have seen event handling also. Yeah. Anything else we have covered apart from this? I think that the next part I think I wanted to discuss was about useState. I remember you guys discussed on the state. Yeah. The concept called state within the React component.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Gagan to explain this. Used it.
Yeah. So Gagan explained what exactly is a state and was about to cover what exactly is a use state, why do we need a state, why not use a simple variable, yeah, and why you need to create a state variable. Okay, so let's quickly do some, you know, quickly do some what? Uh, Assignments. Yeah, so we'll try to solve some of the challenges to recall all this. Okay, I can now explain you sit and explain what is use state and all, but now you should be able to recall all these things. Should be able to write this, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So what we will do, we'll implement a simple counter, a component called counter. Yeah. And counter will have an initial value, a prop. Yeah. It will have an initial value, which means counter starts from 0. Okay, you should create a component called counter, and counter by default starts from, okay, default start from 0, but I can receive a prop as initial value. Okay. Sorry, I'll receive an initial value as a prop to this counter. Now, if initial value is there, you will display initial value. Otherwise, it will say default value. Fine. On top of that, we need to add two buttons, increment and decrement buttons. Ready? Now, you need to just handle the event. Click event. Huh? Getting what I'm saying? Yeah. So you create a counter component. A default value of the counter, yeah, it should show count as 0, which is nothing but it should show in the output. All I need is, and let me draw. Okay, so this is a counter component. It should show the count value. Just a second. It should show me the count value. Interesting. Why it is not allowing me to? Yeah, it should show a count value. So if I given any value, then it should show that value. 0, yeah, if no value. You know what I'm saying? Given value or 0. Second thing is, should also have two buttons, increment and then decrement buttons. Is it clear what I'm asking for? And on increment, you don't have to do anything. You don't increment the count also. No, I don't want you to increment. All I want you is you write some function. Okay, write some function which will handle the increment. Write some function which will handle the decrement. I just need to see that you're even writing console.log value. That is more than enough. In both the case. Is it clear what I'm asking for? Yeah. So with this example, we will recall some of these concepts. Is the question clear for all of you? No, no, I'm not talking about state. If you know state, yeah, you can do that. But I'm saying based on whatever you have learned, it's just that event handling syntax you will recall. You will try to use the prop syntax and then you will use some conditional rendering. Okay. So in that conditional rendering, we will try to display initial value. Otherwise, we will display it as 0. Yeah. Some of the concepts will be revised with this. So all I'm asking is create one component called counter. Okay. Initial value. Initial value. Yeah. Initial value. Correct. Any other question? Manoj, are you clear? Rajesh?
Sir, yes.
Yeah, respond. Okay, respond. So why to waste time actually sitting? You guys have to be active, huh? So here everyone is time bound. Manoj, don't be on mute, okay? I don't have any problem. You guys are speaking.
Sir, can you please briefly explain once more?
Okay.
I not understood clearly.
I am asking you, you have to create one component called counter. Okay, first thing. And
Okay.
the second thing is you should be able to pass some initial value as a counter value. For example, you should say count is equal to 0. That's fine. You can say count is equal to 10 also. Correct? Counter might start with,
Okay.
you not have to start always 0. If I don't pass the count, then let it start with 0. So
Okay.
whatever pass value I pass, you display it. You display it in this JSX, you show count, whatever count it is. Along with that, you keep two buttons, increment and decrement, below that count. For increment, you write one event handler. For decrement button, you write another event handler.
Okay.
And in both the event handlers, you just simply now do a console log. One dummy console log saying whether it is increment or decrement. That's all. You don't have to even decrement it. It is not a fully working
Okay, sir.
counter. It's just to understand it.
Understood. Okay. Okay, sir. Understood.
Okay.
So suppose, for example, if you pass some initial value, then while declaring, while
While
incrementing,
displaying,
if
while
able
dis-
to,
while
yeah.
displaying, you show that value.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Yes, sir. Understood.
Clear? Okay. So let's do this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hope it is clear for all of you. Okay. Let's take 10 minutes. Okay. 10 minutes for this and recall the syntax and complete it. If you're done, just say yes, you're done. Yeah. So then we can actually start review. If you're done before 10 minutes, let's continue. But I'll give you at least 10 minutes. All right. Yeah. Continue. So let me show you how I would have done actually. Yeah, I think most of you have done. Yeah, most of you are very near. Okay, so how do I solve that? I'll have to open a code sandbox or a stack bliss. Let's say stack bliss. We found stack bliss is bit faster, correct? And then I'll have to create a new project.
Screen is not visible.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't share. Forgot to share. Now I'm going to share. Okay, this you have to learn. Okay, coding, typing, executing things. You should learn actually. So I don't want solution. Solution anybody will do. Okay, so what is it? Now let's start a new project from one of the starter template. Go to front end. There's a React TypeScript, React. So there are a lot of templates, a lot of ready templates which are there. So we'll start with React only, React JavaScript. Even I found the other day, I think this template also was not that straightforward. Yeah, they included a lot of things, I believe. No worries. So we have app.jsx, and app.jsx has a lot of initial stuff. Okay, not required. So we'll just start off a clean slate with simply app. And let's see if I can return simple hello world saying, okay, I am from app. Okay, some installation is happening. Yeah, npm install is happening, npm run dev is happening. Wait a minute, I think this will take some time to
Uh,
start up.
Sir, I fixed my code.
Okay, fine. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I mean, I saw, I think mostly you had it. No, I didn't want even the counter to work. Okay, money. Yeah, that was not the assignment. Assignment was just to try the syntax, just for you to familiarize this. Okay, this is what is a syntax. Okay, this is taking some time to execute, but meanwhile we can actually do that. So what is the component I asked you? Is it counter? Which means what? I have to create a new file. Under source, I have to create one file, capital C, counter.js. I can also say JSX. Both the syntax are valid. Okay. Usually they say JSX. You see, it will recognize that this is a React code. You put even JS, no problem. So you can name either way. There is not much of a difference. Syntax wise, nothing is going to change. So what is the thing? I have to export one component from here. Export. I'll use a single line export default function and then counter. And you know that in React, any component you are creating, you should return something. Then only it calls like a component, correct? So let's say I use a word counter. That's all I need. This is how I should get started with. I cannot do everything in one go. No, I cannot build a whole town and then see if it is working, standing, sitting. Not required. First start with hello world only. That will give you confidence. I mean, this is what is my recommendation. Those who are learning to code, for you all, I'm saying start with small. Now you created this component. How do you use this component within the app? Tell me. You know that you have to write an import. And after so the one beauty of using this code editors and with auto suggestion is, okay, since it is busy doing some dependencies and all that, it didn't show. If you start typing counter and then you write, it will do auto import actually. Yeah, you might have noticed these imports are not using, so I'll just get rid of them. Yeah, I'll get rid of those imports, and then I'll also save this. Okay, fine, not an issue. So what I'm saying is, so I have to import this from where? Import counter from /counter. Like this, I want you to remember the syntax. I want you to type the syntax actually. Don't, if you don't know, don't really try look for some output and working output. I don't want it actually. I don't want even the counter to be working. Did I say that? No, not really. If you know already, that's fine. So this way we can borrow one component from one file and then import it. Now all the if this is working, if the basic counter is displaying for me now, all I have to do is I have to display a simple word, yeah, this simple word called counter. It should display me a word called counter. Let's see if this now this is going to work. Yeah, okay. I think some error with this code sandbox. Yeah, not related to this. Okay, not related to what we have been doing. So now I think I can do another way. So let me go to stack bliss which I have, and I've created templates. Yeah, I can fork an existing template. That was actually easy. If you remember, I had this is a white fork. I don't want. I'll use this React events, which if you remember, it was a different template. Since it's a working template, see I get immediate output also. The installation and all that is not there. Starting a dev server. Done. Almost done. Done. Console is working. Compiling. Fine. Now this I will not touch it. Rather what I'll do. So there is nothing I have written here. Yeah. So let's say hello. Then hello will be displayed. See, hello is displayed. So it is fast working. I'll do just a fork of this. I don't want to disturb this. I don't want to fork. After forking, see project forked. Now I can click on this and rename counter example. Fine. Now I have got a working project. I'm going to use this. So I'll follow things in simple. I'll try to understand. I have to improve my confidence while I'm writing. That's the way you should write a code. Okay, now let's quickly create a counter.js file or JSX file. Either way, it will work. So I'll make it counter.jsx, and from here I can just simply copy this as we already typed and don't want to waste too much time in typing itself. Now this counter, I'll make sure I'll display it here rather than hello, because yeah, this is what I told you. As and when I start typing, it will show that this component is there. You just select yeah, sometimes I have seen even counter is being imported. So let's import the counter also. Import counter, the default import from /counter. It says in counter.js React is not defined. Fine, let's import React. Looks like this is an older template. React import explicitly is now not required at all. You don't have to import like this. Yeah, this is made optional actually. From 18 onwards, you don't need to explicitly import. I think it is even 17 onwards. Fine. Now let me add the logic here. What I said, counter should display some default count, yeah, which is 0. Yeah, now we have to render more than one because I have to add a button now. I have to add a button, it is increment, yeah, and I have to add another button called decrement. Now what is it? Now it is failing to render because this is not a JS expression, and it is saying giving the hint also one parent element. So we remember we said we can even use fragment also. Fragment is nothing but empty element. So let me add a fragment in this case. Ideally we should write react.fragment. Like this is a syntax. Even here also react.fragment. In short, we write an empty element. Now this is the output I expected. That's all I was expecting as an output. Still, things are not done. Okay. I said we will accept some prop. That prop is initial value, or maybe let's say count. Initial count. Something meaningful. Initial count. What if he has not given? I'll assign a default value of 0. Instead of displaying simply count as 0, I'll display using this expression, the the what to say interpolation syntax. I just displayed count 0. Now let's see. Let's check if the interpolation is working. I say 10. Yeah, 10 is displayed. Okay, then it is working. So likewise, you have to go step by step. Fine. Default value is displayed. Count is displayed. Here, yeah, I'll test this part. Okay, before testing. So for this displaying is working and display, everything is working. Now I have to hand event handlers. For event handlers, if you remember, I have told you you should write handle increment. You should use this prefix called handle. Yeah, and the event name function handle. Now say since it is doing decrement instead of click, I have told you handle click, but now it is doing increment for both both the functionality. So I'll say on click, what I should do, handle click, handle increment. Same thing over here, on click, handle decrement here. Now I have told you just do the console log. That's all I have asked you. Nothing more than that. Just to check if these are working. Okay, increment. Here, decrement. That's how we have to start with, right? I cannot write a whole logic and see that nothing is working. Or I have stuck in making execution. Now let's check. Increment, working. Decrement, working. Just. Okay. So you see, increment, decrement button is working. This is almost what I actually was looking for. Nothing beyond this. But I saw you guys did more than that. Yeah, I'm happy that you know already that syntax. But this is what was my assignment looking for. Now just to try it out, this is a counter with 0. What if I say initial count? An initial count, I wanted to pass 20. Is 20 displayed? Displayed. If I don't give, you already saw. If I give 200, displayed. That's all. It's over. Nothing beyond this. Yeah, initial count. If I don't give initial count, then there is a default value. How? Using destructuring, I have taken a default value. So assign this proper value. Then I've added two event handlers. One for increment, one for decrement. Any question in what I've actually developed? Is this example clear? Anything which is not clear from this? Anything which I have not covered before?
Yes, yes.
Just for Rajesh, it is clear.
Clear, clear.
Yeah, clear.
See, as a beginner, you will start seeing a lot of errors actually. But my only point is pay attention, read those errors. Sometimes this kind of error comes where things are not working. Yeah, like how I showed you here. So some of these things we cannot handle it. I would say these online editors have some challenges. Yeah, some of the times they'll hang actually, or they'll hang. So just understand the working one. First thing is hello world should display. That's where I should start with. Not beyond that. Okay, I should start always with hello world and go on building incrementally, and that incremented thing should keep working actually. That's how you should build. I've seen people they have a habit of writing everything and then start seeing console fixing one by one error. No, that's not development. That's just expecting output. Now, since you guys know already useState a bit of it, let me talk about that. See, I can use this variable called let count actually. Can I use it? I want to use this for counting, storing the counter value. Yeah. Now, can I increment this count value? Can I display this count value in the JSX? Tell me, can I display this that value here instead of initial count? Let me comment out this initial count. Can I use this? Okay, instead of commenting out, I think let me display that count value. Is it displayed? I put 100. Displayed? Displayed. How do I increment this count? Tell me, how do I increment this count? Count is equal to
Count, count, count
count
plus
plus 1. Here,
count
count
minus
is
one.
count minus 1. Correct? Now, do you think this example will work? This logic is correct? Let's check. Increment is called. Decrement is called. But you see the count is not updated. What is it? Not updated. Okay, let's see if it is updated or not. So how do I check? I have to display this value, correct? I have to display this value. To check whether it has really happened or not, I have to display this value. So I'm just logging that value after that count. Let's check. Is the increment decrement working? Working or not working? In console it is working fine. Exactly, it is working as expected. But what is the problem you are seeing? Tell me. In this example, there is only one problem. Tell me what is that?
Uh, s- Sir, you now if you clear the console whenever trying to click increment and decrement, that will starting from existing one. Yeah, not starting with initial.
So it is starting with initial. See, we were in the middle actually, Mani. Let me show you what you are expecting. Okay, I have to reload. I did save it. Now you see increment. See decrement. Or one more time increment, one or two. So that is not the
Yes, yeah.
problem. The problem is this UI is not updated. I'm able to get that value printed, but then the UI is not updated. Correct? Decrement was working, increment was working. Only thing is this value is not reflected in the UI. Now, why it is not working? There are reasons, okay? There are multiple reasons why this is not updating. First thing is, if you update a normal variable like this, if there is any change to normal variable like this, React will not be able to recognize that this variable has changed. So let me tell you what is the meaning of that. See, I'll add something here, okay? I'll say div and hello world. Do you see immediately the output here on the left right side after adding this? You see it is immediately coming. Why? Because there is a serve, okay? So React has set up a serve. So as soon as this file is changed, it takes care of updating it. It takes care of again compiling it. So in a mode like, okay, it is watching that, correct? That's why this you see the output changed as and when I type. I did not save. I still it is not saved. Same thing here. So if you have a normal variable like this, so React is not watching these variables. It won't be able to detect that these variables have changed. Even if it detects, like here, it won't re-render. It won't re-render this UI. See, if it re-renders, then only you will see the updated value. Getting what I'm saying? So normal React variable, React won't be able to detect that there is a change. And even after that, so if it has to re-render, so it has to detect that there is a change. Yeah, and re-render has to happen to see this updated value. So React says no. Okay, so I'll give you a special kind of variable, not like a normal JavaScript variable. So I will give you a syntax to create one special variable which is called a state variable. What is that variable? It's called state variable. The syntax is, you can say, use state. Yeah, this is syntax to create, and I have to give an initial value. Now, where is this use state is coming? React is giving. React is from the library. We are getting this function. This function we are using to create a state variable. And in React we say, okay, UI is actually, yeah, is a function of state. If the state changes, then this is also going to update. Fine. So here one thing, this is a way to create a state variable syntax. Now another thing is, it says you cannot update like this. This is a wrong syntax. You cannot directly mutate this variable. You cannot write count is equal to count plus 1, which is wrong. Then what I should do? Then React says instead you should use a setter function. Yeah, you can call some setter function. And that setter function is what you have to use if at all you have to update this value. It's a function. First one is a value, second one is a function. So I'll say setter function. So you call setter function to update this value. How? Should say count plus 1. Isn't it? And let's check if this is working, because I'm just doing an increment. Do you see now it is updating? Did I do anything else? No, no change. Now, so React is actually monitoring the state changes. It is having a watching. It has kept a high. So since it is watching this, if there is any state change, React is going to call this re-rendering. So then you will see that suddenly there is an updated value in the UI. Basically, since I'm updating the state, this this will be executed again. This whole thing will be executed again. That is called re-rendering, re-displaying. You can think of. Yeah, you understood what is the reason for use state? Yeah, the normal variable. This is one thing. Okay, it will not be watching. Another thing will say, okay. So I think I'll explain it in the next discussion. We will discuss more on this use state. There are different use cases for use state. Yeah. So we say this value will not persist. Basically, I said re-rendering, correct? No, it is not just this part is re-rendering. It is instead the whole function is going to re-render. The whole component is going to re-render actually. Yeah. If you ask me how do you say that if the whole component is re-rendering? Okay. Let's check console.log. Yeah. I am in counter. And just check the console now. After each increment and decrement. Just observe. Okay. So let me reload. Now you see I am in counter got displayed. It is displaying twice. Okay, I will tell you later one day, okay, why this is displaying twice. For now you just ignore that. Now see, after increment you should see only this count is being incrementing, this inc is also getting incremented. But you will see even this line is also printing. This line gets executed. If this line is executing, it means this function is executing again. I mean, this component is whole component is getting executed. I mean, that's what we call it as whole component is re-rendering. This is as simple as I am calling the counter once again. You see the increment now. You see this message? Where is this message? Line number 9. Meaning this is also executed. Again you call decrement. Yeah. Do you see the now state got changed now? With the decrement, did we update the state? We didn't update the state. Which means what? The component did not re-render. How do you say? Because this console log was not printed. You just clicked on event had a log, and that's it. But if we end up updating it, yeah, if we end up changing the state, then the whole component will re-render. Irrespective of what state you are updating, it is going to re-render. And in React, there is no limit on how many state variables I can create. I can create a 10, n number of state variables, each for different purpose. Okay, but more on that later. So now see, I am updating the state with decrement. You see now, the whole component is re-rendering. So because of this behavior, okay, so because of this, so whenever, so the basically this value is changing, okay, so React won't be able to remember the updated value. If it's a normal value, React won't be able to remember this updated value. Every time it will become count as 0 only. Yeah, let me show this once again. Okay, we don't have a setter function. Okay, we don't have a setter. Let's see if the re-rendering happens, and let's see the count value. I'm in counter, I'll say counter. Okay, I need to try this example. Yeah, see now, all I've done is I've just reverted back. I'm not using state now, but let's see the increment. Yeah, no, it is not actually executing. It's not re-rendering. You see a re-rendering is happening? No, not happening. It's a simple variable. State is not changing, which means React is not watching these changes. Yeah, if there is a yeah change in the state, then React considers re-rendering and it will re-render. But actually they have given this previous explanation saying this value will always become 100. Basically, the component will anyhow re-render is what they're saying, and it won't be able to remember that value in the subsequent re-render. Okay, so more on that later. I'll not try to confuse you telling everything. So in simple, you think whenever there is a count or state change, React is going to call re-render, which is nothing but the whole component is called again. Yeah, and that will call a re-rendering, and you should remember that even a line, a console log outside all these functions and return is going to execute again and again. And the state variable is what React will, yeah, respond to, or we should use, yeah, so rather than a normal JavaScript variable. And we don't write this normal JavaScript variables at all. We always create state variables, and there is no limit on how many times you can actually have a variable like this. Is it clear? Is it clear for what I'm asking for?
Yes, yes, clear.
All right, I think I'll stop here. Now, what you can do, you can actually add a counter logic. Okay, so I'll add you add a counter logic. Okay, counter logic you can do, and you can also update your counter to see that it is working. Yeah, to see that it is working. All right. I have One other small assignment on top of this. Huh? Okay, you all can try now. Anyone needs to drop, or you all have time? Anyone needs to drop? Anyone has something else to do? You all had a dinner? If you didn't have a dinner, let me explain what I'm actually looking for. Now you make this increment decrement work like the way I showed you. On top of this, now increment by 5 should work. It should add 5. Getting what I'm saying? Incrementing this is default is happening 1. But increment by 5 should happen 5. So it should become 5. Again, if I click, it should become 10. Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Understood? Just a
Yeah.
deviation of this normal increment. Now make it incrementum with by a value of 5 actually. Increment and decrement by a value of 5. Yeah? So this is what you have to implement it. And send me this. Okay, once you're done. Yeah? Is this clear what I'm asking for?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Clear.
Only thing is, in case of decrement, make sure the counter is not going below 0. Yeah? Should not decrement when counter is 0 or when counter is less than 0. This additional logic you handle it. Yeah? Add increment by 5 and make sure counter is not going below 0. It should be always 0, not less than that. And for that, you should add a condition here with handle decrement. Oh, sorry, I wanted to save. By mistake, I forked it. But that's okay. I think I'll give you this link. Correct? I'll give you this link. You all can actually refer and you can you fork it. You can also implement on top of this also. Is that clear? Yeah, you can use the same thing and you can implement on top of this.